Dana here, and welcome to the vlog. And this is altitude. I am currently taking the FAA's Part 107 course, and this is lesson 3 that I'm going through right now. It consists of waiver policy and definitions. So, quick abbreviated on this one. The 107.200 waiver policy and requirements. The administrator may issue a certificate of waiver authorization, a deviation from the regulations specified in the 107.205. If the administrator finds that a proposed small UAS operation can be safely conducted under the terms of the certificate of waiver. So you can go back to the FAA and say, I would like to get a waiver to do whatever I need to do, which is outside the standard 107. A request for a certificate of waiver must contain the complete description of the proposed operation and justification that establishes that operation can safely be conducted under the terms of the certificate of waiver. It means you're going to have a contingency plan, you're going to have your backup plan, you got to let them know that you're going to have so many observers, and then of course you're going to be, if you're going to be in charge, or you're going to be in charge, but are you going to be controlling it, or are you going to have an operator control that? All these little stipulations they're going to want to know, because you're going to be flying outside the standard 107 requirements. The administrator may prescribe additional limitations to that certificate, and whatever they consider necessary. A person who receives the certificate of waiver issued under this section must deviate from the regulations, or may deviate from the regulations of this part to the extent specified in the certificate of the waiver. Must comply with all conditions or limitations that are specifically in the certificate of waiver. And his list of regulations subject to the waiver: operation from a moving vehicle or aircraft, which the standard you're not allowed from an aircraft, but you are from a moving vehicle as long as the area that you're doing it in is isolated from, population of people. Night operations, or daylight operations, which means they'll let you fly at night. Visual line of sight of the aircraft of operation means it can be out of your sight for whatever length of time they let you fly out of your time. You can fly without a visual observer. Operation of multiple small unmanned aircraft at the same time. Yielding the right of way. Operation over people. Operation in certain airspace, which means you probably get the waiver to do everything but G. And operating limitations of small unmanned aircraft. So that's part of the waiver certificate. That's the waiver policy. And I'll go into the definitions, because they do consider a difference between a UA and a UA UAS. A UA and a UAS. And they're going to give you the definitions on it in a second here. UA, or unmanned aircraft, an aircraft operated without the possibility of direct human intervention from within or outside an aircraft, which just lost that.
UAS.
There we go. Unmanned aircraft. An aircraft operated without the possibility of direct human intervention from within or on the aircraft, which means it's not an airplane. You can't get in it and control inside of it. You're outside of it and you're controlling it with an outside controller, so it's considered an unmanned aircraft. There we go.
It's important to understand. Conducted under Part 107.
All right. A remote pilot in command, or remote PIC, or remote pilot. Person who holds a remote pilot certificate with a UAS rating and has the final authority and responsibility for the operating and safety of a UAS operation conducted under Part 107. A person manipulating the controls. A person other than the remote PIC who is controlling the flight of the UAS under the supervision of the remote PIC. This is a formal role defined by the FAA when the small UA is being operated for commercial purposes under the Part 107 regulations. The person manipulating the control is not required to have a PIC certificate, as long as there's a PIC certified person in the presence. A visual observer, a person who is designated by the remote pilot in command to assist the remote pilot in command, and the person manipulating the flight controls of the small USA to see and avoid other air traffic or objects aloft or on the ground. Okay, visual observer. So he's there to either, and he's designated by the PIC. Because these days, a lot of your movies and TV shows are filmed by drones. You're not going to have full-size helicopters in certain areas flying around. The cost for flying a drone and getting the same shots as you would in a helicopter is substantially a big difference. So, but you know, when they're doing it, they're going to be flying in cities. They're going to be flying over people. They're going to be, you know, so and these licenses just, you know, come out. This requirement's just come out within the last couple of years. So this is all brand new. All right, next.
Is not required to possess a remote PIC certificate. A visual observer is corrective lenses or spectacles.
Alright, the control station, or CS, is the interface used by the remote pilot to control the flight path of the unmanned aircraft. So, wherever your controller is considered the control station. Right? Corrective lenses, spectacles, or contact lenses. That's something they got in here. And, alright. And here's your definition. Small unmanned aircraft is an unmanned aircraft weighing less than 55 pounds on takeoff. And that includes everything that is on board it or, quote, quote, otherwise attached to the aircraft. A small unmanned aircraft system, which is the USA, is the entire drone, okay, or the entire unmanned aircraft. And that includes your communication links with your computers and the components to control the unmanned aircraft that are required for safe and efficient operation of the small unmanned aircraft in international airspace. So your small unmanned aircraft is the aircraft itself, and an unmanned aircraft system, and that is the aircraft, the batteries, and the controllers, along with, if you're using a laptop, iPod, or your phone, or whatever you're using to control it, that's considered the system. All right. And that was that part of it. And that was the final part. And now we go on to my first quiz. So I will be doing that tomorrow, and we will see how we ferry up and go from there. It says, which of the following types of operation are excluded from the requirements of Part 107? Well, and a quick one is USA used for motion picture filming, model aircraft for hobby use, quadcopter capturing aerial images for crop monitoring. So we'll see how that is. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, and we'll catch you on the next altitude. Don't forget to subscribe.